Any question? Any question? Yes. Where is the mind? Where do you think the mind is? You ask me. The Buddha say the mind is not inside nor outside nor in between. Nowhere is the mind. Mind cannot be found. Where is it? Good question. Only when there is these three things that comes together: object, contact, and consciousness, sense door. When these three comes together, arises the mind. So the mind is nowhere to be found in this whole body. You say, is the mind the hair? No. Nose? No. Heart? No. Heart is form, not mind. Heart is material. Mind is immaterial. Your toe? No. Your backside? No. Then is your mind found in another body? No. Or my mind is outside here. When I need it, it comes in. When I don't need it, it goes out. No, it's not outside. Then is it in between? Inside and outside the space there? No. But how then is there mind? Because when there is contact, when you see me, you have your eye base, you can see me, you're not blind, there is contact, I'm near enough, and I'm the object. When these three comes together, then the thought arises. Today I'm sitting here listening to Brother James, correct or not? Yes, not. A thought arises, and that thought is the mind. We call it sankhara, mental formation. When this comes together, chitta and cetasikas, now in the Abhidhamma terms, alright, in the Abhidhamma terms, what is mind? Mind is when there is citta, cetasikas and aramana comes together, arises the mind. And what is citta? Citta is the consciousness, cetasikas is the mental states, and aramana is the object, external object or internal object. And when these three comes together, arises the mind. We call it formation, javana, the 7 moment where karma is created. And that is the thinking mind, that thinking mind, that thinking is the mind. But when we use the English word thinking, means you're thinking of something. But when you're not thinking, it's also the mind. Rising, falling, no need thinking. When you rise, when you fall, you just know it rise. You don't have to think. You don't have to say, now this bottle is lifting, this bottle is falling. You don't. But you know that this is lifting and this is falling. Your mind don't have to say that. Right now. Do your mind have to say that? Now you look at this bottle. Do your mind have to say, now Brother James is holding this bottle up. Now Brother James is holding this bottle down. Do you need to say that? But do you know that this bottle is going up and down? Is there thinking? Now there's no thinking that this is bottle up and down. But when these three comes together, the formation is the mind. Accurate. In Abhidhamma, it is very accurate. That's what the mind is. So the English words, not accurate. Not accurate. They say, what is the mind? Thinking is the mind. Right. Immaterial is the mind. But it doesn't explain what the mind really is. Hearing, you hear me talk. Right? And you know at once it is Dhamma talk. And your mind goes in and analyze whether it is correct or it is not correct. That is thinking. Now at that moment, your mind arises through the hearing. Then the mind thinks. But once you don't hear, this hearing mind is not there. So mind arises through the 6 senses. Mind is not there all the time. That is where the concept is. Mind is there all the time. And therefore, mind is me, me is mine. Mind is my soul is the mind. The concept arises because we think that mind is there all the time. And when we die, the mind goes from this body to another body because mind is there. Mind is there. So what happened when this body die away? And this mind is there? So it goes to another mind. It goes to another body. So that becomes concept, the Buddha says. 62 types of wrong concepts that bind us to the attainment of Sotapan, first state of sainthood. 62 types of views from the hell world right up to the Brahma world. They call it the net of views, the net giant net that covers up these 62 types of view. They cannot get out of this net. They cannot gain enlightenment, sotapan, because of these 62 types of views. They think that the mind is permanent. The mind is in me. The mind is thinking. When I die, this mind goes on and on. The mind never dies. Wrong concept. Think the mind never dies. The mind dies all the time, very fast. Now you are seeing mind, hearing mind, tasting mind. A person who is blind has no seeing mind. You can explain the moon 1,000 times. Say, yeah, by way of inferences. But he can't really see the mind. He don't really have the seeing mind. No matter how you explain, he doesn't know. Or hearing mind. You can explain sound to him 1,000,000 times. He can't understand what sound is. If he's no hearing mind. Right? When you meditate, you know how the mind arises and fall away. When you hear thinking arise, you can experience very clearly how the thinking mind arises through the 6 senses. When the mind becomes peaceful and calm and everything magnified, become clear, you can see calm. The thinking mind subside. Another object come into contact, mind arises and it disappears again. That is what vipassana is. Mindfulness is to see things as they really are. And that is enlightenment. When you can see these things very clearly, and you gain makapala, you gain the sotopan, then the wrong view is cut off. You know that mind is not self. Self is not mind. And that is the first state of sotopan. You really know one, you know, not read one, you know, not hear one, you know. You really experience one, you know. And that's the difference. And only in meditation. People who don't meditate on the 4 foundation of mindfulness can never attain realization. No matter what religion they call themselves, as long as they don't practice the 4 foundation of mindfulness, they cannot see clearly. They cannot perceive clearly the nature of this mind and object. So they cannot gain enlightenment. But they can go to Deva worlds. There are 6 Deva worlds. There are 20 Brahma worlds. Yes, they can go up. But they will also have to come down again. Like a balloon. When there's no more oxygen, they come down. Reborn again. But they can't get out of samsara. Yes. Only the Buddha. The Buddha give this teaching. One and only way, and that is the 4 foundation of mindfulness. There is no other way. The Buddha say that in the Dhammapada. There is no other way. There is only this one way. And that is the 4 foundation of mindfulness. And the Noble Eightfold Path is found in the 4 foundation of mindfulness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Not what I say, Buddha say. Not my answer. I read it from the Dhammapada. Yes. They don't mix compassion and ill will. Yes. First comes the compassion. But because they can't do anything about it, then the ill will arises, thinking that if I kill this person, I will end his suffering. But he has no wisdom. You end his suffering, he could have bad chitta, bad thoughts, and he will reborn worse than what he is now. Now he's a human, and now he lies down a lot of pain. Or what if he goes down worse? In the hell world, it's worse. So how are you going to save him? Go down to the hell world and pull him up? You can't even pull yourself up. You know? So it is the next moment. One is compassion. But compassion does not mean wisdom. Compassion may arise without wisdom. It's just compassion, but no wisdom. You see, like the Bodhisattva, when they always ask this question, why do the Bodhisattva see the lion and then he cut himself because he jumped in front of the lion to be food for the lion? Because the lioness just giving up the cup and very weak and lay down there, cannot move. So he thinks that this nourishment, he takes flesh and blood. When he takes it, then he will gain energy and he will look after his cub. Otherwise, his cub may die without the mother. So he jumped in front of the lioness, and lioness look at him, probably too weak to kill him. Too weak. He just gaze at him, or too weak to kill him. Then he think to himself, oh, if he's too weak, he can't kill me, I kill myself. Then he look for a very sharp bark of tree. And then he stand near, he killed himself, and he dropped down and dead in front of the lioness. And the whole world shake because of the great compassion. Dana. The dana that he performed, the great dana, but it is compassion. Compassionate to the lioness. But probably that is also termed as dana parami. But it has a lot of compassion to do that. Would we do that? We'll probably just give some money, finish. But that is different, the Bodhisattva. And they say, wow, that is stupid. Don't think the Bodhisattva is so stupid? How could a lion life compare to a human life? Don't you think a human life is much greater than an animal life? And why would we sacrifice our life to animal? That would be stupid. But it does not come. Stupidity does not come in this sense, because it is not wisdom. It's just parami. Has to be done. It's just parami and compassion. So compassion has no wisdom. It's just give. He just do a lot of suffering for people like the Bodhisattva. Through aeons and aeons, he cultivate his parami to be enlightened, to save beings. That's compassion. He doesn't ask for things, returns. No, just compassion. Because beings are suffering and must get enlightenment, and I save them, and that is that. And so he suffered. Aeons and aeons he suffered. A lot of pain. For what? Out of compassion, no wisdom. At the juncture, to be a Samma Buddha, you must have fantastic compassion, not wisdom. Wisdom say, I save myself first. Save people later. And you become Arahant, you disappear. Bye-bye, no more coming back. That is wisdom. Yeah, but compassion is great. Compassion is great. Yeah. So, ill will comes after. Ill will is controlled by moha, ignorant. He thinks he's right, but he is wrong, but he thinks he's right. If I kill him, then I will get rid of his suffering forever. He won't suffer anymore. You see with your eyes he won't suffer, but could you see the future life that he suffer? Yes? You don't see it. He could get into more suffering when you kill him. He could be reborn in worse state, mental states, and physical form. So, compassion is one thing, ill will is another. Like when you do dana to a monk, you say, oh, this monk, I'm going to cook some food to this monk. And then on second thought, the mind says, but the monk don't eat so much food lah. Why must I spend so much money? Okay lah, $1 will do. Buy a few kueh lah. Other people also bring lah. If I bring so much, how to finish? Stinginess arises. One moment is so wholesome. I want to do dana to this moment. But many moments follow. Stinginess follow. So even one is wholesome followed by the other unwholesome. And sometimes the unwholesome arises first, followed by the wholesome. But it has its combination. Wholesomeness, it comes with all the wholesomeness. Mental states, mental cetasikas, factors. And when it disappears, and the mind arises that is unwholesome, and it has its, again, a different cetasikas. The formation is different. It has its formation of all the unwholesome mental state, plus the neutral. The neutral becomes unwholesome when it's mixed. Clear not? Clear not? Compassion is one, killing is another. Different, not the same. In Buddhism, there is no compassionate killing. No. No. How does intention comes into compassion? Yes. In every mental states, mostly Only in the indecision mind, there is no intention. Every mind that arises with chanta, intention. If you want to give, intention is there to give. If you want to kill, intention is there to kill. If you want to do walking meditation, intention is there to walk. If you are thirsty and want to drink, intention is there to take the water, open up and drink. Intention is there. Intention, when it is mixed with unwholesome mind, it becomes unwholesome intention, chanta. When it's mixed with wholesome mind, it becomes wholesome intention. In Pali, when it's unwholesome, we call it karma chanta. When it's wholesome, we call it dhamma chanta. When it's neither wholesome nor unwholesome, katukam yata chanta. That I remember, my teacher always say that. When I study Abhidhamma, he always say that. So it gets into my mind very deeply. After 20 years, I can repeat it like that. Like his mind come to my mind and bring out his mind. Yes. Katu kam yata chanda. It takes me a long time to remember this word. The other is easy. Karma and Dhamma easy. So whatever wholesome thing you do is Dhamma chanta. Listen to Dhamma talk. A lot of wholesome intention. If you have no wholesome intention, you will say, "Ayah, so dull. I balik kampung. I better see my son better. I better go home and feed my dogs." So there is intention. He doesn't want to see, don't want to hear anymore. He just take up and leave. So that becomes connected to attachment. My house, I got to go back and feed my dog. More important, attachment to the dog. So the intention that arises in that mind is what? Karma chanta. I'm going to repeat that and it gets into your mind. Karma chanta. Wholesome one is Dhamma chanta. Intention. So in the practice of meditation, there are two types of intention. What are the two? No, practicing one, different. When you practice, the teacher always say intention to move. Then you move, right? There's always this intention to drink, then intention with your hand and drink. So this is the intention that you put into your mind, intention to do. Another intention that you don't see so clearly, the already intention in your mind. When you stand up, forgot to see my intention to stand up. You're already standing up already. Then you put your hand, I didn't see my intention to move and take the water. The intention that is already past. This is what you are supposed to see. The intention before you do a thing, to see it. And of course, the easier one is the intention that you put yourself. Don't need to see one. You put in yourself one. Okay, intention to drink. Okay, now intention drinking. The one that you put in one, your mind one. But to see is actually arising one. That needs strong mindfulness. That is what you are supposed to see. The second type of intention. Clear not? Clear not? Yes. Good question. Any more? Yes.
Why is it when a person does something
Good.
he does many things
Good.
we remember it for a short while.
Yes.
But the day he makes one mistake, we remember for a long time.
For a long time. It depends whether the good thing you do is strong or not. If the good thing is not strong, the bad thing is strong. So it gets into the mind. So sometimes you do a lot of good and we forget about it because it is not strong. We just give $10. Okay, he's poor, $10, finish. It is not strong. But if it is strong, the $10, you do something, you cook and then you give, take 2 hours to give, you remember it better because of the duration of time. The chitta, thoughts keep on arising and arising. So the more it arises, the stronger it becomes. It enforces the strength of the thoughts. But if the thoughts is just for 1 minute, take out and give, so it is relatively weaker compared to the $10. You buy something and go all the way and present. So it takes a longer thinking, keep on arising of thoughts. Now why is it that sometimes the mistake that we do is so strong? Because we don't let go. We don't let go. The wrong thing, we note it. This is wrong. I'll try not to do it again. Or I'll correct it. If I've done it wrong, then it subsides. But if you don't correct it, and you let it be in your mind, then it grows stronger and stronger and stronger because you keep thinking about it. Every time you think about it, the stronger it becomes because you don't let go. See? So, it depends. Sometimes a little bit of good can be very strong. A lot of bad can easily be forgotten when it becomes habit. When he's doing bad things all the time, bad thing to him is nothing at all. Yeah. But a person who keep 5 precepts very strongly, a little precept that he breaks, he become very mindful. I break my precept. I got to chant that again. I must be more careful. A little bit becomes a lot because he's strong with his precepts. But if a person who breaks his 5 precepts, like drinking water, break 10 precepts also nothing lah. Not to say 5 lah, it's nothing lah, because he never bother about it. And he say 5 precepts, no, I'm not going to be a Buddhist. Buddhist precept very difficult. Because he has been breaking all the time. And going to keep it is great effort. So he's not going to put that right effort. He's not going to have that wholesome mind, wholesome effort. You better let the mind be and enjoy, depending on the state of mind. So if you want to analyze his state of mind, then you have to go through the combination. Why it is so? It is so because of these factor arises this type of mind. Why is this type of mind arises? Because it depends on these combination of these factors. So that is more detailed study. More detail. It is like dissecting the mind. No joke. Only the Buddha knows that. Buddha can go exactly to the every detailed point of why this mind arises because of such combination. That is Abhidhamma. Abstract Buddhism. Sometimes they call it higher Dhamma. Because it is not normal concept Dhamma. It is talking about higher Dhamma. Cetasika, Rupa, Dhamma. So what is precisely Abhidhamma? Abhidhamma is these 4 things. Cetasika, Rupa, Dhamma. These 4 things is Abhidhamma. No horse, no dog, no woman, no man. No, we talk about citta, consciousness. Cetasika, mental states. Rupa, form. Dhamma, talk about the unconditioned, ultimate reality. So these are the 4 things that you learn in Abhidhamma. The rest are, of course, more dissecting. Abhidhamma, you go into Pachayas. That is the most fantastic chapter. And the Buddha goes into that. His ray, body ray, go right up to the Brahma world. And it goes through the world, the Deva world, they will say, what light is that? When this light appear, the Deva cannot fly through the lights. They will drop down and look what is happening. They see, oh, Buddha, they're meditating. Then they walk around the lights. They cannot go through the lights. So in many of the suttas, the Devas looks down and he say, what is that? What is this light? And he looks down and he saw the Buddha meditating. And this is one of the rare occasions when the Buddha light goes up to the Brahma world. No being could go through that lights. No beings alive could go through that lights until it subsides. And when he was going through the Pachayas, the relationship of the universe, the whole world, as he go through this relinking mind, and why is the cause of this relinking mind? The ray shoot up. It's one of the rare occasions, and this is under the chapter of the Pachayas. Fantastic, fantastic. Our mind couldn't comprehend that. It will burst. Our mind will burst into 1,000,000 pieces. Could never comprehend that. We only comprehend the skin only. We don't go inside. No, the Buddha is the one who could only go inside. We can't. No Devas could do that. No Brahmas could do that. Right? So sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.